You want to drive the right knee by pivoting on the ball of the foot, lowering the right knee, and blocking the left foot. Here's where I think driving is an appropriate descriptor, because you're not moving. So in order to move from your right to your left, you're going to have to supply some of that energy with your right leg. Okay? Here's a kind of a stop action where she's throwing a ball. And that kind of shows you what's happening. She's moving from her right to her left. There's a lot of rotation. If you look at the very end, the very last sequence, her foot's flipped all the way over. Okay? And then this is the same girl, same lady throwing the actual javelin. And you can see that it looks pretty similar. Okay, so let me show you the stand throw. And again, we're not throwing down into the ground. We're throwing up into the air now. And I think I've got two views here. So she's looking where she's planning on throwing. That hand's up. And what I'm going to do, Coach, do we have an email for everybody in here? Like, are we emailing out things to people?
We can.
Yes. Great.
Okay, what I would probably do is I would probably put all this stuff together on Google Drive, and then I can just forward a link to you guys. And then you'll have all this video.
Just put it on this one so that it's easy. The key is to write really, really neat, because that's when people say, well, I didn't get it, and then we can't read your email anymore.
And that's just frustrating.
Yeah. Yeah. Or it bounces back because something's wrong with it. Oh man, yeah.
All right, so you've got your short throw into the ground. You got your stand throw where you're going up. And now what we're moving into is we're moving into a little bit longer. So our progression goes stand throw, 3-step throw, 5-step throw. I personally feel like, and this is just a personal feeling, feel like stand throwing has very limited value. It's not like the shot. In the shot, if you can only stand throw 50 feet in a shot, you're not going to throw 75 feet in the shot. That's just how it is. Discus is about like that as well. But in the javelin, there's really not much correlation between how far you can stand throw and how far you can full throw because of the run. What I like to use rather than stand throws, I want to use the stand throw mainly just for teaching and maybe as a warm-up activity. Then once my athlete's got a pretty decent sound stand throw, I want to do almost everything else from 3 and 5 steps or from longer. Okay? But once they're at a place where they can, you know, good basic mechanics, stand throw, I don't want to use the stand throw much anymore, okay? I especially don't want to ever take any really hard stand throws, because that's really hard on your shoulder and elbow. That's a really good way to hurt people, okay? So that's one of the things that makes javelin a little bit different. So the right leg is crossed over the left, javelin's back, most of the weight on the left. We're starting with the left, the foot pattern is left, right, left, okay? So here's what it looks like. I'm crossed over, right foot over the left. I'm going left, right, left, or 3, 2, 1, and then throw. Yeah? Yes, sir.
You said the stand throws obviously weren't optimal. What about like when you're doing strength specific work with like a knock and ball? Would you do stands or from?
I would. I think that's a little bit different circumstance, and okay. I think if you need to do specific strength, then I think that would be an appropriate time to do it. Okay. I just don't like doing a lot of it with the javelin.
Right.
Now the problem with the knock and ball is that you have to have like a basic level of proficiency with the javelin to be able to benefit from throwing the knock and ball. If you hand a baseball guy a knock-in ball and say throw it, he's going to throw it just like a baseball. And if you're trying to teach him how to be a javelin thrower, that's not productive, okay? So there may be a period of time with an athlete who's got an overhand throwing pattern where you're not doing anything like that because you're trying to avoid reinforcing that pattern that he's already done or she's already done 8 million times in their life, okay? All right, So here's your starting position, right crossed over the left. All right, let me show you what the video looks like now. And again, I'll get your information and I'll send you all these videos because it'll be helpful for you to have them. Right, left, right, boom. Okay? Or we could count it out. 3, 2, 1, and throw. Left, right, left, and throw. Three, 2, 1, and throw. All right, now, what was the rhythm there when she did her 3-step throw? What was the rhythm? It was very even. And here's one of the limitations with the 3-step throw. The rhythm that you use when you do a 3-step throw of 3, 2, 1, that's not the right rhythm. Okay, let's look at it and let's see, well, what is the right rhythm? Coach McAtee, you're such an expert. Okay. All right, here's what 5-step throws look like. We're starting from that same position, right over left, javelin drawn back, most of the weight on the left foot. Starting with the left, the foot pattern is left, right, left, right, left. Okay, now, look at how I wrote this out. Look at how I wrote this out, because this is pretty important. Put your eyes up there and pay attention to how I have physically represented that up there. That is meant to mimic this thing that we talked about with the 100, 125%, 75%. Here's what the rhythm is here. The rhythm is 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Do you hear the difference? It's not 3, 2, 1. It's 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay? Now, I want you to clap that for me so that I understand that you understand it. Ready? 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. I want longer between 3 and 2. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Good, I like that. Now I want shorter between 2 and 1. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. That's it. That's what I want. In Sweden, do we have any Swedes? We got a Finn here. Do we have any Swedes here? No? In Sweden, they say rumpty-dump. Rumpty-dump. I don't know why they say that, but that kind of gives you the idea of the rhythm at the end. If you see the way it's written out, it's 1, and I wrote this out different than the way I write it out because that's how the curriculum is designed, but I would do it 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. It's 1.2.3 ... 4, 5 with no dot in between. 4 and 5 aren't going to land at the same time, but we're going to go from 4 to 5. Da-da. Yeah? Okay. So, we're going to emphasize now the tempo of the run. We couldn't do that on our 3-step throws. It's not long enough. We don't have enough energy to get that correct rhythm. That's the limitation in the 3-step throw. Okay? Now, what does the 5-step throw look like? Well, let me show it to you. Five, 4, 3, 2, 1. Is her tempo